I don't know what you're whining about, Agnes. I mean, you are a narcissistic, vindictive, untrustworthy cow. I have never seen a more stuck-up, attention-starved, jaundiced nepo baby in my entire Gundam exposure. And that says a lot because there's been more than 4 decades worth of source material. And if one thing is for certain, you do not deserve to be loved. You even switched sides just because your fifis got hurt. And mother of God, I wish I could say you'd get your comeuppance, but it's one of Fukuda's best jokes that you got spared, except that's on all of us! What is going on, guys? MJ2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the high-grade Agnes GYAN Strom from Gundam Seed Freedom. The successor to the Goof Ignited, it shares various components with the Gelgoog Menace as a form of cost saving, and is considered for Zaft mass production based on Compass's battle records. This hefty knockoff of the Universal Century comes with a total of 15 runners and a massive sticker sheet, and to put it bluntly, this build is just a worse, watered down version of the Gelgoog Menace build. It feels just as simple to put together as a regular high grade, while the unique aesthetics prompted a unique approach to the Seed action system, even when compared to the Gelgoog Menace despite canonically sharing parts. Beyond that, while the colors are mostly light and gate placement is somewhat fine, the undergates in the knees are a bit baffling, while most of the feelings will be drawn out from the lengthy and meticulous sticker application process. To me, this is the most unenjoyable build to go through from the Seed Freedom line despite its simplicity, coming off as mostly frustrating. And a completed high-grade GYAN Strom carries that on, as what is a strong visual foundation is sullied by the plethora of cheap-looking stickers. For starters, there is the mono eye, light blue on the ears and collar, and grey on the leg thrusters. But then every single dark blue trim and red highlights on the backpack are stickers, which looks terrible due to them wrapping around curves, and more often than not excluding the surrounding edges, with the tendency to peel off over time. For those curious, here's the kit without any of them besides the mono eye applied, and while the main body is mostly unscathed without them, the same cannot be said for the backpack because of the raised trims, which goes to show just how grossly over-designed the Bolelo S is to begin with. Besides that, you'd need to paint in the dark blue for the torso, shoulder, shin, and back skirt thrusters, the last of which also needing white trims, the blue for the rear head camera, which should have been a sticker along with a compass logo, and the light blue and red trims on the Bolelo S's thruster, which basically makes painting essential in order to remove the cheapness, apart from panel lining and filling in recesses. Even then, the color choices are just wrong. The white, light blue, and grey are fine, but the secondary and tertiary blues on the body and the red on the wings should have been paler, while the backpack itself should carry a purple hue, and the trims should be in a more greyish blue like the cap of the missile pods. Issues don't end there, however, as the undergating in the knees would leave behind a nasty seam line that is carried down the rest of the lower leg if not cleaned up properly, while also being prone to gouges and excess being trimmed away, which is arguably one of the worst places to use undergates considering the metallic injection parts of later Seed Freedom kits don't use them at all. Are there any positives? Yes, I'd say that the GYAN Strom is proportionally fine and the color separation on the body is very strong, and if you aren't as pedantic about the colors as I am, it's an absolutely fine looking kit even with the excessive number of stickers. Otherwise, this is a case that requires copious amounts of work in order to perfect. Articulation starts with a ball and hinge neck joints, but the collar does restrict the rotation and your grip. Meanwhile, the top of the helmets can be removed to access the ball jointed mono eye, but since it is so small and tight, you'll ideally have to use tools to move it. However, the sticker will still be at risk regardless of the means. The arm sockets can freely roll around with the ball jointed shoulder, while the shoulder armor can move up for a very good arm race. There's a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and ball jointed wrists. The hinged double ball jointed abs and waist provide flexible crunches, a waist roll, and a side to side rotation. Front and side skirts can move for the legs to kick out decently. There's a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and hinged ball jointed feet with a moving toe. Finally, the wings can rotate at the base, flare in and out, and open up. Articulation of the GYAN Strom is arguably its strongest aspect, as the joints provide a wide range of movement despite the bulk, and the structure stayed solid during the posing process. In terms of accessories, the GYAN Strom comes with a set of holding hands, an angled right holding hand, and a right hand with the integrated Slayer whip, which simply angles over the removed cap piece on the right's forearm. And besides needing to paint the ball joint grey and not coming with the left side version, the whip is a fine weapon unless you want to paint it in the grey stated in the manual, or a red to depict the heated whip. Moving on to the handhelds now, starting off with the beam rifle. It's a short-barreled version of the Galguk Menace's rifle, which features a stick over the scope, missing white details, a moving foregrip, and sandwiches into the hand for use, or stored on the right skirt with the alternate adapter placement, answering a question from the Galguk Menace video. For melee, firstly, there's the Pharaoh Sakare Beam Saber. In homage to the Gyan Saber, it can be slid into the holding hands for use with the SP6 beams. Alternatively, it can be plugged onto the left skirt for storage for using the Fox G7 beam axe in its place. The same weapon used by the Zaku Phantom, it can either be sandwiched or slid into the hand for use with the custom effect parts from removing and reattaching the bottom blade. And while the grip isn't exactly the most reliable with the standard holding hands, this is effectively rectified with the angled holding hand. As for storage, the blades can be replaced onto a shortened version of the handle and be mounted onto the back skirt. Meanwhile, the self-propelled shield that features a folding handle and a ball-jointed axis can be used either by plugging onto the forearms or solidly sandwiching into the hands for defense, or as a giant buzzsaw by plugging the effect parts under the shield to depict the spinning blades, on top of the alternate hardpoint if you want it to be Captain America. It does look cool and all, but some parts of me wish we'd also got the static blades as well. And besides featuring 8 red stickers on the rim and missing orange insides for the large beam emitters, those emitters don't extend like in the movie. It's a minor detail, but an omission nonetheless. What does extend is the Tridenti triple-barreled rotary beam machine guns on the chest. The hatches open up heavy arm style to reveal a koala face, and then separate barrels are plugged into the eyes for their use. They're subtle weapons that lend themselves to hilarious innuendos but offer some auxiliary firepower regardless, though they need to be painted in a purplish grey for full accuracy. As for compatibility, the head of the Gyan is compatible with the universal standard and vice versa so long as the collar is cleared, while the waist can be swapped with that of the Galguk Menace. However, the ball-jointed shoulders are too large for the universal standard. On the other hand, the backpacks and backpack weapons can be swapped between the Galguk Menace and GYAN Strom, so you can have an atmospheric Gyan or a space Galguk, or even recreate Hilda's Galguk for the final battle. To a lesser extent, the Gyan is also compatible with the wizard packs from the Zaku Warriors and Kerberos Baku Hound, but based on the Kerberos Wizard, while they don't connect as reliably as they do the Galguk Menace, this combo suits the Gyan better as they are dogs and Agnes is a bitch. Besides the backorder hell, there's a reason why I've put off the GYAN Strom until now. I just didn't want to work with it due to how frustratingly poor the straight build visuals were, and that's not because of the inaccurate colors, but I'll mention it too since it requires 8 to 10 paint mixes for accuracy and missing paint apps, hiya. So you have to be absolutely masochistic to touch the kit up at that level of detail, as opposed to having an extremely bland or cheap looking kit. The main fault of the early Seed Freedom kits was that their designs are way too intricate, and I feel like the GYAN Strom was the one that is impacted the most by this factor, and that is without mentioning the unnecessary undergates in the knees. The articulation and weapon implementation are all fine beyond some inconsequential omissions, and frankly I'm glad it didn't fall to pieces after a review session like the first few releases. However, a model kit is meant to look good first and foremost, and the high-grade GYAN Strom just doesn't look 2,900 yen. If you're willing to put up with the work and make it look as good as it functions, then go right ahead. Otherwise, either get Hilda's variant with its own share of visual issues, albeit a lot fewer comparatively, and the Bolero A, or move along. And that's all for me. Thank you for watching, drop a like and comment if you did enjoy the video, subscribe for more content like this, and feel free to follow me on social media with the links down below. That said, take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out guys, bye bye.